Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Justin and this is Dad Discovers, where I'm discovering the world through reacting to videos. Today we're looking at another UK video. This is an American that moved to the UK and she says that she thinks it's better to live in the UK versus the US. So we'll see what her thoughts are on why that is.
Definitely don't have anything that even compares in the US. Hey y'all, welcome to the Hickson Diaries, where we talk about my life as an American living here in the UK. Today I want to talk about the 10 best things about living in the UK that absolutely smashes life in the United States. Lower fees for higher education. So studying in the UK, it's just...
Yeah, college here can be very expensive. Like very expensive. Like crippling to the point when you get out, you'll take many years to pay off the debt. And part of that's because of how expensive college is. And then part of that's because so many people I've seen, they graduate college, they get their degree, and then they work in a completely unrelated field, making way less money than what they thought they would be making. So, yeah.
It's a lot easier on your wallet as compared to the United States. It's not just that the cost is lower, which is significantly lower. It's that the duration of the undergraduate programs are shorter, or you can study something in college that would take maybe a year and a half or 2 years that would probably still need like a 4-year degree in America. If you're in a profession that needs a little bit more training and skill set, obviously like nursing or doctor, you're going to need to be in school.
And that's another thing here. When you're looking for a job or a career here, it seems like, especially now, it seems like everywhere requires a degree. And even when I've seen on the job boards, companies will want you to have a 4-year degree, which, like I said, is very expensive. But then they want to start you out at like $12 an hour, or something crazy. So yeah, like it just doesn't seem worth it.
Go for longer, but a lot of people here are in the workforce a lot sooner. Also saves you money, right? And also saves you time. You're
Right.
able to contribute to society in a much more effective manner because you don't have all of these loans over your head and you're not paying for your education your entire life. You're able to actually invest in your future and invest in the economy and start your life, whether it be marriage, children, buying homes, traveling, whatever it is, in a much sooner than you can as an American equivalent can. Especially as a child who's thinking about that in the next couple of years, very excited about the fact that I don't have to pay that much out of pocket for university or college. Less reliance on cars for daily activities.
Yeah, I've heard this one before, that the UK set up, or even Europe is set up more for walking around, more for public transport. And the UK is a very, or the US is a very car centric country. Like, I couldn't imagine not having a car. Like, I know people that don't have a license and don't have a car, but I couldn't imagine it for myself, because how do you get around anywhere? Like, the city I live in, there's the only public transit. We don't have buses. We don't have subway. We have Uber, or you can call a cab, and that's it.
Many people find that they
So, like,
don't
how do you
really
get around?
need a car for day-to-day life. I found that to be true and I love it. Thanks to public transportation for those of you in America.
Plus, having a car is expensive here. I mean, it's probably expensive there too, but you get a car, you have a car payment. That's going to be anywhere from $300 to $600 or so, depending on what kind of car. If you get a big truck, it's more. And then car insurance, because car insurance is expensive. I think I'm paying right around $300 a month for the insurance.
And the fact that towns are extremely compact, many people opt to walk or bike to where they have to go, or just hop on a bus or even a train if it's a longer distance. Now, that's not to say that there aren't cars in the UK, because of course they are, but so many towns and areas in the UK have been around for so much longer than the United States as a country. It's just not created or made for a lot of car or motor
That makes
vehicle
sense.
travel. Even buses have a hard time sometimes getting down a local town road. It's also very relaxing for me. I have downtime where I don't really have to talk to anyone. I can just switch off and do something on my phone. Sometimes I literally just put everything away and look out the window and watch the countryside. Really, really calming and relaxing to me. I get so stressed out when I drive here, and it's something I wish more.
So your public transport, it even goes out like into the countryside? Because yeah, I don't think anywhere I've ever been here you can take a bus and go through the countryside, unless it's like Greyhound, which is our the buses we have where you can go like cross country, um, but they're very slow, and I think they're pretty expensive now. But I took a Greyhound many years ago, and what was normally a 6 hour drive was like a 14-hour ride. It was intense. It was insane.
Was more common in America and that public transit was more accessible for the United States. You know, this had to be on the list: free healthcare. Now, I know it's not free. Obviously, it's a tax that comes out of our wages
Right.
every month. But once that comes out, you don't have to pay anything more. I think you might have to pay a little bit for dentistry. And if you go private, as opposed to using the National Health Service, obviously you have to pay for that as well. And I think you might have to pay for like prescriptions or something, but it is minimal. Being able to have access to healthcare and not have to worry about uh, remortgaging my house if I get sick, or basically going bankrupt if I break my leg. That's an amazing, amazing lift of stress and angst off of me since I've lived here. You don't have to worry about all of these medical bills piling up when you.
And I would say it's not even just that. I mean, that's huge. But here it's all tied to your employment. So if you switch jobs or lose your job, your insurance is gone. Like it's gone. And then if you get a new job, a lot of companies you have to be there for, X amount of time before you're even eligible to sign up for insurance.
At home when you're done, when you're done with your hospital visit, or it's really about just getting better. It's really about keeping the masses healthy, and you don't have all that extra financial stress on you at all, and it's
Which
like
would
a
be
breath of
nice.
fresh air. I'm telling you, it's an amazing thing, and the US should have it. A better work-life balance, particularly that you get more time off. They take advantage of every opportunity they can to make the most of their downtime. And I really love that about the culture here. Workers here in the UK are guaranteed 28 days of paid holiday per year, including the public holidays. This is
That's crazy because I'm sure you've heard in the US, you're not guaranteed anything.
way more than what the average American gets. I can attest to that. Even at a job that I was at for over a decade, I didn't get that much time off. It is so important and it is so relevant and necessary to have a balanced life and to not constantly be worried about work. It
Yeah.
gives you an opportunity to just reset, recharge, spend a lot of time with people that you value the most and mean the most to you, and or just to relax and kind of just decompress and clear your mind for a little bit. Having this much time off is amazing. It's great for recharging your batteries, and you are able to have a life outside of work, which is a completely alien concept in America.
Yeah, here a lot of times, a lot of people don't even take their vacation. Um, their management won't approve it, or it's just such a hassle, to try to get it off, or you can't afford to take it because you need the money, even though they pay you. If you're working a job where you're working 50 or 60 hours a week, when you take your vacation, they're only going to give you 40 hours worth of pay. So you're going to have to take a pay cut to go on vacation. Plus, you go on vacation and then you spend money. So you come back and you don't have the money to pay your bills. So a lot of people just skip.
Historical landmarks and castles everywhere. I
This would be
love
cool.
history anyway, so this is a no-brainer for me. It's not like there isn't history in America. Obviously there is, but it's not everywhere you go like it is here in the UK. And in America, it's just a lot more commercialized and inauthentic. Here, it's like a treasure trove. It's incredible. There's cobblestone streets in every town. There's buildings and landmarks that have been here for hundreds of years. There's sites that are historical sites all throughout the UK. You can go on a road trip and you just see a brown sign and just go. That's one of my favorite pastimes to do while I'm here in the UK. I love that.
Cool.
Walking through these places, and you start to feel like you're stepping back in time. You just don't get the same feeling, even in the very historic and specific sites that you have in America. You really feel that when you step into these places. And also, just walking down the street, you see this church that's been there for 500 years, which, Jesus, like, obviously is unheard of in America. You'll see the same streets that people walked down in 17 something or in 15 something. You see that the castle that old kings and queens used to live in. It's fantastic, and it's something that I absolutely adore about living here. It's just incredible. I love all of the landmarks and stuff here, and in castles, please. I am a castle junkie, so that is a no-brainer for me as well. Efficient and widely used public transportation. So I kind of touched on this earlier when I talked about not really needing or using your car that much. Specifically, the public transit system here in the UK is really easy to navigate. Whether it's the tube in London or the bus system in Edinburgh or the Southeastern train ride to go to a beach or something like that, it is really easy and efficient. It makes commuting less of a headache, at least for me, and it also helps, cut down on traffic and pollution. It's really convenient, in my opinion, especially when you compare it to America, because unless you live in an older city like New York or Philadelphia, you really don't have access to it. You have to kind of drive to even the station to get there, and you have to worry about parking, and it's kind of a big pain. And in a lot of cases in America, it's easier to just drive where you gotta go. And there are towns and cities that don't really even have a bus system or a subway system. So for me, it's very convenient and it's very easy, and I find it a lot more user-friendly and a lot more conducive to life here in the UK than it ever was in America for me. So food and drink here in the UK. Being able to just have quality food in general. You can taste the difference in the food and beverage here. You can drink the water out of the tap here. You can taste...
You can drink the water out of the tap here too. Sometimes it's got a chlorinated taste or some kind of odd taste to it. But where I live, you can drink the water out of the tap and it's fine.
Flavors of a piece of chicken here as opposed to what you get in the US. The food and beverage here is just so much tastier, it's so much fresher, and you can definitely taste the difference in quality. So for me, being able to have healthy food and have access to things that I'm putting in my body that are actually not chemically based or are loaded with a lot of additives is a huge...
I think that's all of it here is the preservatives they add in because they want it to be shelf stable for forever. Even things that should go bad quick, they pump all this stuff into the food. Like a loaf of bread. I remember it seems like when I was younger, a loaf of bread, it would be bad after a few days to a week. Now you can buy a loaf of bread, it seems like, and if you forgot you had it and it sat in there for 3 weeks, it would still be fine, more than likely. No mold on it.
Plus, feel healthier and better about myself and everything that I put in my body here in the UK. All of the charm of your countryside and your landscapes and your villages have become obsessed with English countryside specifically. Even when I was in Scotland and in Wales, the countryside is incredible. I haven't been to Northern Ireland yet, but I hope I get there eventually. But it does seem like a lot of these villages and a lot of the landscape is almost out of a storybook. You still have all the rolling hills, you still have the quaint little villages, you still have pubs that have been here for a really long time that have all their authenticity and all their originality. And you have all these picturesque landscapes that haven't really been touched that much. In my opinion, I think the countryside is great for a little getaway. Just driving around on a little road trip and just seeing where I can find a cute pub, or I can have a scenic view that I have not seen yet. All of that is extremely peaceful to me. And it's really exciting to me as well. Peaceful and exciting. I kind of contradicted myself a little bit, but exciting to experience.
Right.
But I do find a level of peace and serenity as I'm experiencing it as well. And it's just so lovely. And I love the fact that I have all of that at my fingertips. Having a stronger, realistic approach to recycling and sustainability. Being green is a really, really big deal here in the UK. There's a huge push towards recycling, using sustainable practices, and trying to participate in natural ingredients when you're cooking. And many communities take real pride in their efforts to reduce waste and protect the environment. Americans recycle and all that kind of stuff, but we aren't as conscious of it. There's a lot of people that don't use reusable water bottles in America. They'll just use plastic water bottles and throw them out. The amount of waste that happens in America, because we're such a consumer-driven culture, really kind of contradicts any efforts that we do have as far as recycling and sustainability in the US. So it is nice to be in an environment that's actually taking that seriously and that actually wants to try to do better.
Yeah, it seems like here we talk about it, but we don't really do it. My last house, we had a recycling bin to put all of our recyclables in. And then we bought this house, which is in like the next town over, 3 years ago. And when I was calling to get my trash service set up, I asked them about the recycling, and they said that we don't recycle here. Like they said, it's not affordable for them, so they just don't do it.
Pubs? Do I need to say more? There's so much to say about pubs here. There's so much history. Every pub has a story. They double as community hubs. There's so many different types.
That's cool.
There's so many things that you can do when you're in the pub. It's just really the heart of a lot of communities, especially when you go out to some of the villages. That pub has been there since that village was created and established, and lots of people have stopped there to sleep, to eat, to have a chat, or celebrate something. And it's
Who's going to the pub to sleep?
almost always a warm, friendly atmosphere, a place to come together, a place for the town to meet, a place for people to form bonds, a place for people to develop relationships, a place for people to end relationships, a place for people to find out what's happening in the community and find out what's happening in the country and the world. And look, don't get me wrong, the pubs in London and everything, they're awesome, but you really want to go into the villages and outside of the big cities to get a feel for what an actual pub is really like, because in my view, it is the essence of British culture, and I don't know that I would have ever understood how important certain things are to the British people if I hadn't frequented pubs and had conversations with people about their local pub. We really get to feel the essence of what UK culture.
She's really talking up the pubs. In my mind, I was just thinking that a pub's just like our bars, where you just stop in after work, you grab a beer or two, and you're gone. You don't really talk to people, you don't really do anything. You just grab a beer or two, or you might go with a couple friends, drink a couple beers, just kind of BS around for a little bit, and then leave. But she's making it seem like this whole community, I don't know, this whole like community center type thing, which sounds really cool. Because, our bars definitely are not like that.
Is all about when you step into these pubs. They definitely don't have anything that even compares in the US. So there you have it, guys. Those are 10 ways that I think that the UK is much better to live in than the United States. I'd really love to know your thoughts, so leave comments below for me. Don't forget to hit that like button.
Yeah, that was super cool. It's definitely good to see different people's perspectives on different things. And the last video we watched was, they were interviewing British people about the weird things that British people do. This one here's an American living in the UK, and kind of getting their perspective on living here versus living over there. Clearly, she likes living over there better, which, yeah, that's great. Go where you want to go. That's great. But yeah, super cool, super interesting. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next one.